got to tell y'all about this thing called life. You know I got to share it. See, there's this thing called life. I got to tell y'all.
Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to episode 177 of In a Good Way podcast. I was gonna say today's special guest. Today's special guest is me. But yeah, I'm so used to saying that, right? But I wanted to do this real quick because what was coming to me this morning was like it was funny, right? I was supposed to go to work and but they had already told us if it rains, then they were gonna cancel it, but we were still gonna get paid. So I was like, oh yeah, I prayed for rain for sure, right? But I was on my way to work when I got the call, and it was funny because yeah, I was like, all right, cool, I'll get off the freeway and turn back around. But right where when I hit the GPS to go home, it was exactly 6.6 miles and 13 minutes, which 6 was my brother's birthday, the one that passed, and 13 was one of the numbers he would show me when he passed, right? Because 13 is the letter M, and M for that was his name, right? Um, or is his name, right? Uh, with the letter M. So, I was really and on the way to work, right? I was already thinking about him because he had showed up in the last the last interview I did, right, with Barbara Banner at I don't know my things, but Barbara Banner, episode 175, he showed up right near the end. If you watch the interview, he had been showing up, right, and all this stuff. Yeah, like in a big way, right, recently, right? So anyways, it was funny, right? But here's the thing is like the first thing that popped in my head, the message, right? I should have started with that was like about how, when God or the spirit world or sometimes things are delayed. But then yeah, like in my head I already heard people, the kind of people that would be like angry about that. Well, I was already driving and blah 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 or this and that, right? Because I had already gotten on the freeway. I was 10 minutes into my drive, right? I left home, boom, 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 hopped on the freeway, and then I get the call. I was already had made my way all the way to the fast lane and the LA traffic, right? Like already, boom, boom, boom. I was like, all right, cool. Well, let me get off, right? But there's people that would see that as the, oh well, what an inconvenience, right? But to me, it was funny. And then even once I saw when I got off the freeway and hit the GPS to get back home, and I felt like that was a little nod from my brother, like thanks for the rain, right? It was delayed a little, but I still got my rain, and I still get paid and got to come home and do this, right? So sometimes that, right, it's all about the perspective, how you take it, In this case, it was 10 minutes. Sometimes it's 10 weeks. Sometimes it's 10 months. But, I've gone through all of that. I've gone through a 10-year delay, really, right? Like there's things that happen like that. Um, but we learn from it, right? It's okay. Like we learn from it, you know, things like that. Everything has a lesson to it, right? Sometimes it's of our own doing, right? The the lesson could take 10 minutes, 10 months, 10 years, right? It's on us how fast we learn the lesson, right? Um, last night I had this beautiful, beautiful dream for me, right? It was actually like kind of a doomsday scenario, right? It seemed like very apocalyptic, right? It was an apocalyptic thing. Everyone was living kind of in ruins and stuff, but I was as happy as can be because I had a little baby bobcat, right? I had the cutest little bobcat cub. I guess it was like my familiar in this thing. And yeah, I was just so happy. I was like, oh wow. Like I think I was trying to record it. Like nobody's gonna believe me. I have my own little bobcat, right? Like it was cool. But that's very significant, right? In the spiritual journey, right? The bobcat. And I have a lot of videos where they've appeared to me, right? The last time I actually encountered the bobcat, it was like walking along my side, right? So that was strange that it didn't run from me. It was meowing at me. It kept meowing at me. And even though that one looked a little more full grown, I know I had been running into that bobcat every time I was going to the mountains, like bam. If I went in the middle of the day, it was there. If I went in the early in the morning, it was there. So I was like, that's the same bobcat. Like, wow. So I knew it was my like totem during this time, but now it's like 100% confirmed, right? And when I woke up in my mind's eye, I saw it like shape shift into this like powerful jaguar, right? It was like, yeah, it just looked, it was like, so it's still with me, right? So I was like, wow, what does that mean, right? Because it was so cute and it was just so cute. Like when I woke up, I couldn't stop smiling because it was like the cutest bobcat, right? It was just this adorable, and I was like, wow, I have myself a little bobcat, right? Uh, yeah, and it almost looked like a ray, right? Because there was other little, like I think there was another little cat right there, but I was like, yeah. So I was trying to record, like, dude, it's like people aren't gonna believe that I have a little bobcat, right? But it was clear, like I didn't own it, but it was with me, right? So it was my familiar. It wasn't like I took like, because you can't really like walk them, right? Like I'm sure they could bobcats, right? They're very powerful, right? They don't stop. Like, I think I was hearing about how the lynx, right? Even the lynx will give up. A bobcat won't, right? Like once it wants something, it's gonna get it. Like it'll like if it gets on a big animal, like a deer, right? It could take down an animal freaking 5 times, 6 times its size, right? Like it's so powerful. It'll hang on until it's dead, right? It'll grab onto a deer and hang on to it until it dies, right? That's how. So I was like, wow, I love that such a little powerful creature came, or relative came to me, right? So let me read a little bit about, I should make a whole video about the bobcat, so I probably will, right? But yeah, it was just a blessing, right? I woke up like that made my whole like everything, right? I was just happy after that. The bobcat as a spirit animal represents solitude, independence, and keen observation, urging you to trust your instincts and reclaim your autonomy. It can also signify the need to honor quiet, solitary moments to recharge while maintaining healthy boundaries. Okay. While maintaining healthy boundaries and being aware of when to be secretive versus when to connect with others. Native American folklore sometimes links the bobcat with being a cultural hero or a symbol of clear vision and seeing through deception. So that's a thing, right? Obviously, um, it's not like I've been shown many times I've been shown many times, right, that like the message from spirit or from the spirit world is like they'll tell me that someone can't really lie to me, but I don't really fight with that because it doesn't matter, right? Like when people lie, it's more about them hindering their growth, right? It's not gonna bother me because um I think the only time, not the only times, but they always try to show me so I'm aware, um, right, just to keep me safe or stuff like that, right? In the long run. But yeah, there's deception. There's deception. A lot of people show deception, but that and I could see through it, right? So I think that's what the Bobcat also represents. But I know it's also the fact that it was a cub, it was significant of starting a new journey during this. So I'll end up with this during this Scorpio season. I definitely have been going through a transformation, right? In the beginning, I think of the Scorpio season, um, there was a lot of nines being presented, right? 999, 999. That was very, so I knew something was coming to an end, and the transformation was happening, right? So yeah. And even that, right? Even though it could be a doomsday scenario and but I was good. I think that was the overall lesson of that, right? I was good, right? I was good with my little bobcat, right? Like, and even that, if you think about it, like, even though, see, once I woke up in this world, I can see it, but it's not visible. Like probably other people wouldn't be able to see this spirit totem that's with me. But it's, in other words, I'm clearly not alone, right? Like it's with me, right? And in this reality, it showed up very powerful, right? Like just, well, I looked more like kind of like a Black Panther in a way, right? It's more like that. Let me see. That's how I'm seeing it, right? It's shape shifted, really powerful. Kind of reminded me of let's see, Black Panther spirit animal. Symbolizes strength, courage, mystery, and the ability to navigate the unknown or the unconscious mind. See? It represents embracing the shadow side of life, venturing into darkness with confidence and accessing inner power. Other meanings include stealth, resilience, guardian, and see, so on this reality, it's my guardian, right? Resilience, guardian, guardian energy, and a connection to the lunar feminine. Wow, that's beautiful. I love it. So, you know, I guess it came into this. Yeah. So, anyways, I think what was I talking about before that? I think the Bobcat is that. Um, yeah, I don't know. Hope that made sense, right? I just wanted to share that. You know, I guess my way of paying it forward for, yeah, it just feels blessed. Like that means more to me. The little Bobcat showing up to me in my dream meant more to me than like, in this reality, right? If someone were to be like, oh, here's, some like something of material, right? Like to me, that always means more, right? Like even me being given something to see my whole guts lighting up. Like even me being given something in like a feather in the spirit world has been something that I've kept with me, right? It travels with me as opposed to stuff that we get here in this physical 3D reality that then we forget about, right? That we kind of leave behind. But for some reason, those things are very impactful, right? To me, right? Wow, it's crazy. As I'm saying that, like I could feel my gut, and then it moved to my solar plexus because that's just my truth, right? That's what it is. Those things mean more to me, and that's a good thing for me, right? In my walk. So on that note, hopefully you are all well. Hopefully this has been a good time. And I was looking at the moon. I know the new moon's about to come soon. And I feel like, yeah, I was on a whole little journey this past weeks. Um, I feel like I'm coming out of it in a good way, right? Like feeling better, feeling more energized, right? Like yesterday, I even stayed for a yoga class back to back, which I don't always do, right? A lot of times I'm like, nah, I tired myself out enough with one class, so that'll do, right? But I think even the past week, yeah, well, the past week I think I had to teach two classes back to back. So even then, right? Maybe I'm being pushed. I didn't even think about it. I'm being pushed to do more, right? Physically, right? Um, so maybe there's something in that too, right? Oh, and yesterday I did a little reading before in the night, and it was about movement, right? So to move with your body and all that good stuff. So maybe that resonates with somebody during this time. If you're watching this or whenever you watch this, I guess it doesn't matter. If you're hearing the message at whatever time, then maybe it's meant for you to hear at that time for you to get some movement in there, right? Go hike, cycle, go cycling, all that good stuff. Okay, my stomach's growling, so I'm gonna end it there. Thank you so much for watching. Go check out the other interviews I've done, right? Obviously, and leave some comments, all that good stuff. All right, thank you. Peace.
Life may move fast, or it may move slow. I met a silly man who said he make it slow. We look up out towards space, or even at the sky. One that pass away, but never look inside. Breathe in, breathe out. Life is a man's move, figure this out. I mean, human beings, I ain't got no doubt. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sometimes you just feeling it, you know what I'm saying? You just feeling it. wanna feel this way forever.
Feel this way